Hi, I'm Maggie.
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is
A Very Bookish Podcast.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to A Very Bookish Podcast. This is episode number 52, and the reason why you're not hearing Maggie or Grace right now is because this is their 1 year anniversary episode. Yes, it's been a whole year since they have started A Very Bookish Podcast. Oh, and by the way, I'm Ayman at Ayman's Books on TikTok and Instagram and pretty much everything else. And I'll be guiding and interviewing Grace and Maggie during this entire episode. So basically, I'm the host and they're the guest. So yeah, how are we feeling, Maggie and Grace?
I'm having a ball. I'm having so much fun.
Yay!
For our YouTube listeners, they will see a little bit of the bloopers at the end with Ayman, but let's just say Ayman was the right choice to basically host this episode of the podcast, because I was like, for our 1 year anniversary, Grace was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I really don't want to do anything too much. And then she was like, what if we have somebody else host the podcast? And we were like, now that we can finally be like the interviewees. We've done one podcast together, somebody
Right.
interviewed us, but on our own, that's a different story.
Genius move. And thank you, number one, for thinking of me to be the host of this podcast. It's an honor. I love being on the podcast myself, literally. Being like coming on here the first time when you guys reached out to me, I was starstruck. I'm like, finally it's about time. And I just love it. And I'll I'm always so happy when I'm a reoccurring guest here and there. It's a delightful podcast. I love every single episode. I watch them rigorously. So is that the right word to use?
I don't know, but you definitely are like the
Viciously.
guest. You are the guest who has been on the podcast the
The
most.
most, yeah.
Like-
I'll say I'm a fan for sure. Let's just
Yeah,
say that.
Like
Yeah.
anytime we don't know what to do, we're like, let's just have Ayman.
Let's have Ayman.
And it's gonna be a yes every single time, no matter what.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I love talking to you guys. For those that don't know, me, Maggie, and Grace, and Melissa, who's part of our friend group, we're all really great friends online. And should I mention something that's happening around January? Or
Yeah, you can.
okay. And so we're very good friends all online, but it's gonna be offline come January 5th or something, in which we'll all head down to where Grace lives around LA to go to Disney together.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
No,
We're
yeah.
gonna be at Disney.
We're gonna all like finally meet one another like at once. So I can't
Yeah.
wait for that.
Yeah, and we'll actually do a kind of like vlog style
Right.
for our
Like,
YouTube
collab.
viewers. Yeah, so they
Yeah,
could
or
see
something like
everything.
that.
We'll do a little episode with the four of us.
Go
in the
for
same
it.
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. Let's do it. No,
Yeah.
We're all gonna have to be
yeah.
in separate rooms recording, but it'll be great.
Is there
Hey,
in our
we could-
Airbnb, is there separate rooms? Like one
don't
would have
think
to be in
so.
the bathroom?
We'll do it
Yeah.
all together. We'll do it like those
We'll figure
guys
it
that
out.
do their podcasts and they like set up a
Oh, they
video
just sit
camera.
around.
Yeah, they just sit around.
Perfect.
We'll be like them.
Perfect.
We'll be like them. But
Yeah.
better.
Exactly. But better.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. So yeah, I mean, this podcast has been going on for a full year now. And just to start off with the questions that I have ready for you guys, what made you guys start this podcast in the first place? And I'd like to hear both of your answers from each and both of you guys.
Do you want to
Maggie
go
and
first?
Grace.
Oh, okay, I'll go first. So Grace and I, we all know our origin story. How we met. That's in the first episode. So if you haven't listened to that, you can also go listen to that. There might be spoilers in this episode for that episode, but we were doing a lot of Instagram lives together, and we were doing
Yeah.
unboxing lives together. And I literally just mentioned offhand on one of the lives, we should start a podcast together, because we would talk for like an hour and a half on the Instagram live. And Grace was like, let's do it. And so we just started it. We were like, okay, what do we want? I like came up with a name, and I was like, what if we did it this? And so we can brand out to a Very Bookish shop and like a Very Bookish podcast, and we can do all of our stuff with it. And so now that's kind of a short synopsis how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because we had a book club before the podcast. And our book club was called A Very Bookish Group. And Maggie did come up with the name of that. And so when we were thinking about doing the podcast, she was just like, we'll do a Very Bookish podcast and then, keep that going. So when you think of A Very Bookish, you obviously think of either one of our three things. And we honestly had no idea where it would go or what would come of it. We're just like, you know what, we'll just hang out. We'll just talk. We'll just see what comes of it. And
Right.
then it just kind of branched out into what it is today. And it's been pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
a hell of a year.
I love it.
For sure. For sure. No, yeah, I just like, how long had you guys been friends prior to joining, or starting the podcast, really, like through Book Talk?
6 months?
Yeah, we became friends, what, in
July of
July.
2020.
Right.
2020 July. So we had just been friends for about 6 months. We had done our book club group for about maybe like 4 months at that
Like
point.
3 months.
Yeah.
Because we did 2 books. We had done 3 books by then.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
And so we were close, and we were Maggie. We hadn't exchanged numbers very early on, but we were friends on Snapchat. So I would always like send her like Snapchat videos or like texts on there. And she's just like, why don't you just text me? And I'm like, okay, here's my number. Text me. Never did. We just kept talking on Snapchat. And she kept talking about how she doesn't like Snapchat because she always doesn't really like messages there often. And I kept sending her my number. Girl, just text me. But then she finally did. And then we started like communicating literally all day, every day. And we literally had like 3 conversations going on, different conversations, all on different social media. So we had one conversation going on TikTok DMs. We had one going on Snapchat. We had another one in text. And so we were talking about that's how we really became close. We like took those 6 months and like multiplied by 3 because
now
of
we
like,
barely
all the
talk.
conversations we had. And now we barely talk.
Now we barely talk. We talk through TikTok DMs. Is us sending each other videos is how we talk nowadays. I mean, Snapchat too, or like voice message. We'll send a lot now, but yeah.
Yeah. So I guess at first it was like, and I kind of relate to the way you guys kind of it was just from basically different app to different app from communication and how it's like dwells down to one and stuff like that. That's very sweet. I love that for you guys. No, yeah. And so do you guys think you guys would have met had a book talk not connected you guys together? Like thinking in a more whimsical sense.
Okay.
You guys destined to meet one another?
No, we would not. We would have never met.
Could we have been?
Hadn't the book community not been there at all?
Well, it wasn't the book community that really brought. I guess it was.
Like
I asked her about a wig. Is what I asked her. If I hadn't found an excuse to I literally asked her about buying like cosplay stuff because I thought she was like a cosplayer.
Okay. First of all, she thought I was a cosplayer. Not a single cosplaying video of mine on my page.
She just gave the vibes. You just gave the vibes.
No, yeah.
But I do think about that. I was like, what if I was too much of like a pussy to DM her first, because she would have never reached out to me. So I was like, what if I never did this? Like, I think about that constantly. I'm like, what if I never joined Book Talk? Like,
no, yeah,
I'd probably be dead.
I would have found you some way, somehow.
That was really dark.
I would have saved you, Maggie.
I would have found you somehow.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna cry.
We could see who's like the dreamer here.
It's because we're very different. Considering I'm from LA, and would I have encountered Maggie any other way? Probably not. But it's the beauty of the community,
Yeah. No, yeah, even just finding one thing in common with another person, whether it only be that one thing, could be enough. And I
Literally.
It
like that you
was.
guys balance each other out. I love this dynamic. I see that it works for both of you guys. So no, yeah, I think that's beautiful, to say
Aw.
the least.
So
Aw.
sweet.
Aw.
So what is your favorite memory of one another? Like, is there just one moment, whether it be podcast or not, that just sticks that like, oh, this is gonna be one for the books, so to speak?
Hmm.
Hmm.
And I'll give you guys a minute.
It's just
There's just so many or so little.
so I don't have
So
really good-
little. There's so little. I can hardly remember one. I just
Mm,
It's funny that like you say this because like I forget, like my memory is not good. I don't remember like before like 4 years ago. Like I don't really remember much of that. So like trying to remember this past year, like it has been like a clusterfuck of time that like I'm like, oh my gosh, it was literally January when we met Ayman. Like I've barely known
Right.
Ayman for a year.
oh my gosh, that's true.
no, yeah, like I discovered Maggie through Grace. Like when you guys like started the podcast was really when I discovered Maggie. And like I'm gonna let you guys into a little secret here or something.
Oh,
I'm
ooh, ooh.
like it's not really a secret because I've mentioned it before, but I don't think I've mentioned it in detail. But I manifested myself to be on this podcast. You guys didn't
Oh
know
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You guys just sent out the email, but I planted that seed in your head. I know I did because because I when you guys started this podcast and you had like you guys obviously had guests before me and everything. I'd like comment on your guys' video and stuff here and there, and just like the every picture that was posted. Make sure to watch the stories, swipe up, give my 2 cents, give my compliments here and there. But I just like because like I knew me and Grace we were mutuals, but me and Maggie weren't. So I just go on her page and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe nobody's heard about this book, and it's a book by J.R. Ward.
Oh my gosh. It's actually funny because like you literally like followed me like a week before and like I
No,
like
yeah, 'cause,
followed
like,
you back.
before you guys like posted like your first official episode, and you guys had made the Instagram account, and
It was January you followed me on TikTok. In January you followed me like a week before Melissa added you to the group chat.
no, yeah, it was very quick.
Yeah.
But no, before I was um before you guys we followed one another. I knew like it wasn't like I discovered like so I was mutuals with Grace, and then that's how I figured out of Maggie's existence, but I didn't immediately start following Maggie right then at that moment. I did comment on some videos here and there,
I want to find those videos.
and then eventually when you guys reached out to me was when I followed Maggie. I'm like, oh yeah.
No. No,
You're
No,
just
yes,
like
that is
very
No.
casual.
Because-
I'm telling you, I'm the one that manifested this.
I am
was
going
me.
to correct this because in January you followed me and I was like I looked at your page and I was like, "Oh my god, this like big creators like following me." So I followed you back. And then literally like a couple days later Melissa added you to the group chat and she's like, "Ayman." And I'm like, "Wait. The Ayman that followed me, Ayman?" And I was like,
Yeah,
"Are
I
you talking about
know.
Ayman's books?"
You're
This is
very
Ayman.
well right that this could have happened and everything. Like
It
like
did.
timeline wise, like I know it did. Like it was, but I knew of your existence before I
Okay.
followed you. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Because I
Um,
definitely thought you were saying you followed me after.
She knew who you were, but she was
but
like
I didn't follow you
creeping-
immediately.
She was
I
like
did creep on you though.
Oh,
That's
that's
the thing.
creeping.
And it
I
was
need to
because
find
like
out.
no, I'm telling you because I didn't even follow you before, but I purposely went on your account and commented on videos.
I'm gonna pull up receipts. I'm pulling up receipts.
No, I'm telling you. And then it was more towards when you guys were announcing the podcast, not even like, inviting me, but just the podcast in general, that I finally followed Maggie back.
Let's see.
And no, it's true because I followed Grace. Like
Let's
we had the
see.
mutuals and everything, but I knew you were the one to like make the decisions of like who like
Oh
who's
yeah.
gonna be the next guest and stuff like that. So I commented on your video so you would invite me on.
Yeah. It's like have you guys seen Now
But
You
we
See
weren't
Me?
mutuals when I first commented on
No.
Maggie's page. That's
No.
not true. I
Have you
commented before
guys
following.
have you guys seen Now You See Me? The movie?
Yes.
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, so
I know the
there's
scenes.
basically like what Ayman was doing. She was like planting the seed by like popping up every now and then. So you knew her name and her profile picture.
Yeah,
And
I was trying to self promote.
you were, but you were trying
Yeah.
not to do it too hard. That's why the
No, yeah,
followers didn't
like
come right away.
I'd go on one of Maggie's videos. I'd go to one that I think like at that time like that's recent and had a lot of views. So I'd be like, oh, it just popped up on my For You page. But no, I went to your account and commented.
Right,
I did
right.
I'm trying to find what video you commented on, but
It was a
Girl,
book.
you're not gonna find it.
It was a recommendation book. You're just like showing the books, and one of the books was Dark Lover by J.R. Ward. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like somebody else on this app has heard of Dark Lover. Never have I read a J.R. Ward book.
I was
Never
literally
have I-
gonna say.
I'm trying to
Never
don't
have
know.
I read Dark Lover. Never have I heard of it before Maggie put it in a video, but I'm out here pretending that I do.
I don't know what video you're talking. I don't think I
Love
haven't
that.
done a. I think
It's Dark Lover. It's like a red cover with abs on it.
I know, but I think that's one of the ones I posted in like March.
Yeah, but I commented on it before I was mutuals with you. So I'm guessing your timeline isn't correct and we didn't follow each other then. But no,
Bitch, we started following each
was
other in
stalking-
January.
Girl.
Yeah, maybe,
Your
but
timeline is
that's not the
fucking-
point.
She's telling me my timeline is off. I'm telling her I didn't post a video till January. We were
I'm
mutual.
dead.
I don't know what
Seriously.
video it was. I don't like. I mean, I do know what video it was. I don't remember like the time, like what season, what month. I don't
I'm
know.
so dead.
You could be right that we followed each other in January, but that's not my fucking point, Maggie.
We did follow each other in January.
Yeah, I'm not second guessing you. I'm saying that's probably correct. You're probably 99% correct. But what I'm saying is, I knew of your existence before. I commented before we were ever mutuals.
Children.
So you commented before January, is what you're saying?
Oh, and by the way, no. Now that it's coming back to me all of a sudden.
Oh
You
my
when
God.
I commented on your video for the first time, and this was because like you guys had already announced like a bookish podcast. And I'm pretty sure you had your first couple of episodes, like maybe like 2, you know?
Okay.
Maggie, you were not following me. And
Yeah, that was in
I
December.
was not following you. We were
Yeah.
not following one another
Okay.
at all. I
Yes.
pretended that basically one of your videos popped up on my For You page all of a sudden. And then like I did a video that had a lot of views, so it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna like comment on this video with 10 views and just like, oh, it showed up on my For You page. No, I went to a video that had a lot of views that was
trying to-
recent.
I'm trying
So
to
it
find.
seems like it popped up on my For You page.
And
But you didn't follow me.
obviously-
I didn't follow
obviously,
you.
It
But I
worked.
did that to put my name out there. Yes.
It
So
worked.
yeah,
Oh, you're talking
either-
about this video?
Let me see. It was one of the sliding videos like that. Is my comment there? Because
Nope.
sometimes no. Here's the thing. This is actually
Nope.
like
Nope. the
ever since I
receipts
got-
say the receipts.
no.
say you're
Let me
lying.
explain. Let me explain because the reason why it's not there is because ever since I got verified, a lot of my comments that I commented before getting verified got deleted. So they're not there. Like there's no
convenient
comments.
for your story there.
I'm telling you, this is how it happened. Maggie, you probably didn't know of my existence or anything prior. And then you did reply to my comment and you said like, I'm loving it now or something like that. Like it's so good. Something like you agreed with what I was saying. But my comment, my exact words were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe somebody else has heard of Dark Lover.
Straight
But the
bullshit.
thing was, like, yeah, that is straight bullshit. The thing was, I had never heard of Dark Lover. I had never heard of J.R. Ward until I saw that video. I know exactly what I did, Maggie. But no, that is the truth that like ever since I got verified, there has not been a comment older than maybe 2 months. There is nothing from like I'd go back on my sister's videos, it's not there or something. There's some comments that are just not there. Like some of my oldest comments
Okay, I'm
that
gonna
I'd
go to my
go viral for are not there.
That's
I'm gonna
weird.
go to when I was in Chicago because you commented on those videos.
No, yeah, because we were mutuals. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
so
but
if
there's
you're not a mutual,
oh no, well maybe no, because I go on some of my mutuals pages and find the comments and they're not there. No, but like no, I'm pretty sure comments from then would still be there because that
Because they were
wasn't
it's
too
that's
long
pretty
ago.
recent.
Yeah, that wasn't not too long ago. We came what in the spring,
so maybe you were. No, I came
but
in
they're
July.
oh yeah, summer. So yeah,
Girl,
that was not too
damn,
long
it's already
ago.
December. I keep forgetting.
That is
Also,
insane.
why are we on this for so long? We need to like.
Yeah. Next question. Next question.
Anyways, favorite episode together, whether it be because of the guest or just like the bond at that moment. What's the best episode that you guys have recorded to this date? Do you guys have different answers for it? Just like, or do you
Is there
guys?
tea?
Let me know. No, like honestly, like Grace, what's your favorite episode, and Maggie, what's your favorite episode?
My
Mine.
favorite episode. I think my favorite episode might be with Sophie,
Sophie Lark.
but
I didn't talk that much that episode, so I didn't.
It feels like because like I know
That's an
Grace.
attack on
Sophie Lark.
Grace.
I know Grace. Like Grace is also the first one to introduce me to Sophie Lark. When we were we literally Maggie. This was when we were supposed to have one of our like meetings through Zoom in which we talk about like the trip.
Oh, I was driving.
And then you were you were driving through like I don't know like bump up valley like through tunnels and shit like that. So you lost connection. You were out. Melissa at that time was like getting sick for some reason, so she just fucking left. So then me and Grace just talked for hours, and she introduced me to the world of Sophie Lark and like the series and like how there's like the spin-off with their children and everything, and it just goes on and on and on. And I'm like, well, shit, like let me get some of that. No, yeah,
yeah.
like so it makes sense that like probably
I
that
think-
episode would be Grace's favorite episode, and in which like she really blossomed and you were
Fangirled.
taking control and fangirl, and I love that for you, Grace. It must have been really
I
nice.
think
So-
and if we're not counting that one because it's very recent, I want to say probably the episode with people we meet on vacation or Get a Life Chloe Brown. I like those
Aw.
two. Yeah, those
Aw.
were cute
Those
episodes.
So
no,
my
yeah, I love
two.
those books too.
I'm gonna do two because Grace did two. Beth
Go for
obviously
it.
was my favorite.
Oh, I
yeah.
remember that episode. I remember
that
the
was-
flirtation.
That
the
was
heavy
my
tension.
favorite. We literally talked for her for like 4 hours. Like that was my favorite episode. But also one of my favorite episodes was with Garrison.
Oh, Garrison
That was a good
fun.
episode.
That one was really good. That one was
There were
really
such
good
good vibes during
because
that episode,
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was also really nice because he was so respectful. He's such a nice guy.
which is like
He-
surprising.
He still
but it's, like, the
follows
bare
us
minimum,
and
you
likes.
know?
Yeah, I know that's really sad, but like he also took like notes and stuff, and he was very insightful about the book, and also like he still like likes our videos and stuff, and it's really
Aw.
nice and
Yeah, he
likes our photos.
He likes our photos on our podcast bookstagram and like our other bookstagrams and on our TikTok, and I always see him in like certain videos. I see him and he's just like, what is going on? And I'm just like,
I'm like
I have no,
No,
words
like,
to explain myself.
Oh my gosh. LOL. I love
posted
that.
one and he like commented on it, and I was like, Garrison, this is not for
What
you.
did you say? What
I don't-
was it?
I think I sent it to you in the
Explain.
chat.
Like I think one of them for mine was like I think it was like he was it was about Alex answering a phone call while doing his business.
Oh, yeah, that was for
in
you.
Twisted Love. So it was like
Oh,
an
I see.
excerpt. It was
Mhm.
an excerpt of Twisted
Oh.
Love where Alex answers the phone in the middle of some
The Devil's Tango.
yeah, in the middle of a devil's tango with Ava, and I basically said that, oh, he answered the phone call in the middle, and I think Garrison like responded like, "What is going on here?" And I was just like, look, I can't explain. I can't.
It's just like, if you know, it's hard. Okay, but I know exactly the type of video that you're like talking about, like that kind of style, that trend that's kind of like been popping off on Book Talk. And like, is there really a name for it and an explanation? No, you just get it or you don't. Like,
you get it or you don't.
Yeah.
Those of you that get it, and those of you that don't.
Literally, yes, took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I
He's really sweet. He's a sweetheart though.
Yeah, he is.
So
He's
Garrison.
really sweet. I posted a video about like something about like a book making like me blush and like what I do when I'm around people, and he literally was like me when reading chapter 27 with my friends around, and I sent it to the group chat, and I was like, "This is
I remember that.
Yeah.
Like he says like that kind of stuff, and it's just really funny, and he's a very like genuine.
He's a cool bro.
Nice,
he's a cool
bro. He's a real one.
He's a bro, but he doesn't.
He's a bro.
He's not like a. He's not like a bro.
He's not like
bro.
a Chad.
He's not like a Chad. He's
not
like a
Chad.
He's like a golden retriever, like golden retriever is what I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like his personality.
He's the guy on campus that you're cool with.
No,
he's very easy to like get along with.
You know what he is? He's the guy that wouldn't make fun of you in a bikini. You know that trend that goes on TikTok? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's him.
No, yeah.
Him. He's such a
He'd
sweetheart.
stand up for my rights. I know it. I know it.
And sometimes I'm just like, Garrison, honey, this is not the video for you.
Yeah.
but we're here for it. Good job.
No, yeah.
Good job.
And fuck you, Book Twitter, for being mean to him.
Oh my gosh.
Fuck everyone on Book Twitter for bullying
Twitter
him.
Is crazy because Book Talk. I'm not saying like one community is better than the other, but Book Talk is better than every other community. Sorry, that's really.
It's just like
But the thing is, Book Twitter, like Book Talk. Let me start off. Like calls out whether it's fellow book talkers or book talkers as a whole, like Book Talk as a whole, on performative activism, but it is nothing like what is on Twitter. Twitter is full of performative activists and just people pretending to be activists, but then they go around and bully marginalized readers, reviewers, whatever it is, for doing absolutely nothing. Like it's like it's nothing is warranted. Like there is I'm not saying Book Twitter is like all bad, so don't fucking cancel Book Twitter if you're listening. But what I'm saying is like the dark side, or not even the dark side, but like there is a good side of Book Twitter, but like you guys have the biggest superiority complex I've ever seen, and it's just like,
yeah.
Why is that? We all read books. We're all a bunch of fucking nerds.
It's also very annoying when readers are like, oh, I wish men were more into reading, and especially romance books. But it's when men do get into romance books, like, yes, there's those two guys on TikTok who literally read them who don't even read the books. They literally have it for views.
Yeah.
But like Garrison, he doesn't make all of his content just book. Like he's a hockey guy.
He's not a book talker. He's not one of us.
Like he's not making his personality. He's not. I don't think he's even posting about it anymore. If he does, it's like one-off ones.
Yeah,
exactly.
But, like he genuinely read the book. Like he genuinely read it, took notes, did a full podcast episode on it.
He was dedicated.
He was dedicated. And then
dude had pages and pages of notes.
And then Book Twitter ripped him to shreds. And I'm like, you wonder why some men don't want to like come into romance when they're going to be ridiculed like this. Like, and he's just making fun videos about it.
There are some, like, I know exactly what you're talking about, Maggie. Some like men, like cis men, that you can tell they're doing it for the views when they.
Oh, you're like, go ahead and call them out. I don't know their name.
Yeah, like I don't.
Ginger redhead.
Corey something. I don't know his last name, but like, it's the thing is like, number one, these men like if they're a lot of like for I think what we see right now is people that are already big creators and now they have like a spam account or whatever the fuck, and they're using it for one specific niche. And you can so tell when it's like a cis man, most of the time a cis white man that's like conventionally attractive, whether they're genuinely interested in books or whether they're just doing it because book talk is mostly of women. There are like men in book talk, of course, but it's mostly women. It's mostly women that are reading romance, you know what I mean? So like props to Garrison, because like I know like when I saw like all the threads of him like on Twitter, like I'm like, this is not like warranted. Like because he read the book, so that means yes, he's kind of like doing his homework. He made like 1 or 2 videos. He went viral over them. And obviously if you go viral for one thing, you want to recreate at that like, type of video. So
Yeah,
you like
like build
milk it
on
out.
it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you milk it out until it's like nothing anymore. So anyone would have done that. So like when people were like, oh, he's just like he's read one book and now who does he think he is? He got views over that like, one video. Like, everybody just because it was mostly like he didn't make any book video or anything, but people fan casted him as
Mhm.
is it Garrett? Right, Garrett,
Mhm.
right? From off campus. So it's like book talk came to him, or the
Mhm.
book community came to him before he came to the book community.
Yeah,
You
and
know what I
he
mean?
already had his following on it, so I don't know.
Yeah, so like
But
he's
there is this other guy, I can't remember his username, but I know his face, and he recently
how
read
does he
like
look
Punk
like?
57, the guy with a bunch of tattoos.
no, this is a
Oh,
positive one. A positive one.
Oh,
A
Priest.
positive one. No, not
Oh,
that one, but that one too. But
oh.
I'll get to that one. He read like the Kiss Quotient, and he read some other romance book. Um
trying to think.
and he's really sweet about it, but like his account is book related content. And like he's really sweet, and like kind of when you look at him, you're just like, oh,
Oh,
oh.
like you want to pinch his cheeks? Like he's
Yeah, you
adorable.
just and he's very good looking. I don't know what team he swings for, but I think he's straight, but I don't know. My radar is not that
I'm literally
not
trying to think. How
precise.
long have they been on book talk?
I want to say like a good while.
Um,
Um, Let me
what's
see
their
if I
age
can find.
range? Because I feel like
Is
the
it
youngest
Roddy Reads?
Ronnie. I don't know what Ronnie actually.
Roddy. It's Rody.
Roddy.
Roddy.
Let me see.
But I was literally gonna make
Wait,
a video.
do they have an accent?
Yes,
Wait, is
he
it
like a shy tall guy with glasses?
not with glasses.
Never mind.
I think I
Alright.
knew who you were talking about. I knew
Nah,
who you-
yeah, a shy tall guy gives it away.
Let me if I
Also
can find if
Princeton guy.
I'll find him by the time this episode is over.
No, yeah.
His name is
Oh.
Jaden.
Oh, he's Australian.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Wait,
Jaden,
send me the profile.
and he's like
He's so
brown
sweet.
hair.
Yeah,
yeah.
curly hair. He's sweet, and his smile just makes you want to smile.
No, yeah, he seems warm and fuzzy.
And he just reads whatever he feels like.
No,
Some
yeah.
people will recommend a book.
Yeah, I wish he like followed more people back or anything, because like like he'll just like recommend like people because he runs like a Facebook like book club or something, I
Mhm.
believe. And then like here and there he'll make like like reading updates really videos. But it's you can tell like it's not something like he's not really engaging in the community, but I don't mean that as in a bad way. I just mean like he's probably not so
Yeah.
active, and that's
He
fine,
just
but
does
he'll
his
come
thing
back.
and then he
Yeah,
dips.
then he dips, you know what I mean? But
Which honestly might be the safest option for a
no,
lot
literally,
of
and
guys.
it looks like it's like a whole aesthetic on his page, honestly, like the way that he just kind of does his videos. No, I wish my life was kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like just, he's literally reading for pleasure. He's literally reading for fun.
Mhm.
It's probably not his like job in some way, shape, or form. I don't ever see him doing any sponsored videos or anything like that. So no, he's just like doing his thing, and he's
Yeah.
like, I'm out. And I wish
Yeah.
at times I wish it was that simple for the
I
rest of
wish.
us.
If it
Yeah.
were that simple,
But
imagine.
now it's like for like you gotta keep going or else
You
you're gonna
gotta.
fall off or bubble.
Yeah.
Like now it's like it's serious, and there's like the business
that's what
aspect and
I'm-
this and that.
That's what I was
Mhm.
scared about, is to leave TikTok for like a month. I was like, what happened?
No,
I
I think
gained
about that all the
followers
time.
after leaving.
No,
But
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, speaking of like timeline and everything, and just like how book talk has affected our day-to-day life and our scheduling and everything that there is, how long do you guys see yourself doing this podcast?
oh dear. Ooh.
Dang,
Is this
she
the
hit him
tough?
with the 1-2.
I mean, like,
That's
no,
a
you
tough
could
one.
you could give me like, any answer you want. Like, I'll be doing this till my kids are having kids, But what I mean in that question is like, not so much so how long, but like what's really in the future and how we're gonna start, you know, um,
I
getting episodes out there. Really,
I definitely think that Grace and I work on a lot of things.
for
So
sure.
Grace is doing commissions. We also have our bookish shop, and we want to do more with that. And we have our
Mhm.
Etsy shop, and like even today we were planning on new products that we want to release and what we want to do with our shop and stuff. And I guess I'll kind of answer it for me. Um, would I love to be able to do this full time? Yes. Do we have the platform for that? No, we don't have.
Right.
We're not verified like Ayman. We're a
Oh
pretty
gosh.
small platform and stuff, and we had to think about this earlier this month, and we a couple weeks ago actually, and we were like, what do we? This is a passion project for us. Like this isn't like our job. This is something that we do because we love it. Like this is what we do because we want to put out episodes. We want to interview people. We want to talk about this movie. That's why we've had like 2 movie reviews in the last week, because we both watched these movies and we were like, this is something we're passionate. This is something we want to talk about. And so we just freaking simped over Druig and Macari for a full hour and a half. Like that's just what we wanted to do, and I would love to keep doing that and having that. And if it progresses into something bigger, that's amazing, that's great. But if we keep our like it as our like our passion project, and I would love to be able to like work on the shop and have that shop and maybe make it bigger one day, because like nobody's ever going to stop reading, and
Right.
there are so many things that we want to do with our shop, that like staple pieces that I want to be able to have, but we just don't have the financing for that. So I wish we would be able to grow, and that like people, because it's interesting when like I see people who reach out to us and they're like, I've listened to the podcast, or they'll like comment on a video on YouTube, TikTok, and they're like, oh my gosh, I listened to this episode about like on another person's video, like I listened to this episode about this certain topic, like maybe you should check it out too, from a very bookish podcast. And like I got Grace sent me a screenshot of that, and I cried because I was like, it's weird to think that like somebody actually listens to us and enjoys us, because we do like not the bare minimum, because I do put a lot of work into this podcast
No,
of like
yeah.
scheduling and editing and uploading, and you can see that sometimes I upload late or don't upload at all until the next day. But I definitely would love for this to grow, and for us to be able also not to just stay in one place but move forward. So if that does mean that like, oh, we move forward with the shop and we have to cut down on podcast episodes, or we have to move somewhere else or do something else with our branding, I'm good with that. But I would love to just be able to grow, is something that, especially what I'm hoping to do in 2022, is
No,
grow.
yeah. I love that. I love that answer. All of it really. And it just puts into perspective like how real you guys are with one another, and because like Maggie, yes, you do put a lot of hard effort into everything, Grace, you included, and it's like very show, and you guys are very professional. Like, whether you guys have like so much so going on in your real life, does that translate or show in the public view? No, because you guys are hardworking women, and I love that for you guys. And if anything, um I feel like if because you guys are almost like partners, like you guys are friends, but you guys are partners for life, and you guys are showing your friendship through whatever you guys collaborate on, whether it be the podcast, your businesses, Instagram, book talk, whatever it is. You guys are like, that's kind of like how you present your friendship with one another to the rest of us. And if that continues to be through podcast, or I don't know, maybe in a bajillion years we'll be on a TV show and this and that, and people will be coming to you left and right, and who knows how like this could take off in the next year, because you guys have had a lot of success in this first year. So it's definitely nothing that's going to be dying down anytime soon. um
Yeah.
but I do see you guys both as, like, no matter what it is, you guys are working on something together, and that um is what brings you together, and what shows us that, like, how your friendship is with one another, and how connected you guys are.
Yeah.
You guys should get married, honestly.
Yeah, we'll probably get married. If I don't find it up, if I don't find a good fictional man in real life, then
I know.
I'll
I think sorry to say this, but my last resort is going to be to marry Grace. I need to marry a rich man to finance all my stuff I want to do.
if I can't find someone.
I'm with you.
But yeah, I think for like when you start a project, it's pretty crazy to think of, like, you think of like goals that you want to hit, and you think of like where you want this to take off, how you want it to progress. You think of those things when you're starting a project, but the journey there, things get in the way, things come up, and you realize that your goal is now something different. But I don't see us stopping the podcast for quite some time. I think it's a way for us to connect to each other. I feel like it's also a way for us to connect to other people, because majority of the episodes that we have had this past year have been guests and have been us like interacting with people and meeting people for the first time and meeting authors. And it's been a great opportunity that sometimes, we forget how amazing an opportunity this podcast is. I mean, could like a week ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago, I was feeling really down, and I felt like I didn't really have anything to show for all of the work that I've been doing this past like 2 years on book talk, on the podcast, on my graphic designing, things like that. And I felt like I've been doing it, but I haven't reaped any of the fruit because nothing has come up. Um, and I was just feeling really down, like I wasn't enough, like I wasn't doing enough, like my worth was not there. And Maggie had to like remind me like why we do this, why it's important. And we got a couple comments of people commenting on our YouTube and commenting on TikToks, mentioning us to other things, getting a couple sales on our shop, those little things, very minuscule in the grand scheme, but they do provide, kind of like hope, and say like, this is where it starts, this is the journey, and then you're going to end up somewhere, and you're going to look back and be like, wow, like I did all of that. And I think what we provide to our listeners is the opportunity to get to hear different opinions and hear different authors talk, and they get to see a little bit behind the curtain on certain authors. Like this whole past month in October, when we had all these different authors who all have different experiences with writing, all of our listeners got to hear that, and all of them got to experience it. And then with all of our TikTok creators that we have on, they get to see what really goes on behind, what they really think about, and connect with them more. So I believe this podcast is a great bridge from listeners to creators. And I just have to remember, like, that's a gift all on its own. And it provides me the opportunity to design more, to create more content, to be able to talk about things that I really want to talk about.
Right.
As clearly you guys realize, I love talking a lot. So I don't see us ending this podcast anytime soon. If anything, it'll just grow
Yeah,
and
that's what I believe
allow
too.
for other opportunities, other projects. But I don't know. I feel like we'll be doing this with kids
Oh
coming
yeah.
on.
Grace
My
will have
kids
the
will.
kid.
My
Grace
kids
will have
will
the kids.
come in
Yeah.
and be like, "What are you doing, mommy?" And I'm like, "I'm recording, sweetheart." Episode like
I
300.
can imagine that. I can imagine Grace literally like pregnant and stuff, and then me drinking like a bottle of tequila or a glass of wine, and us talking about a book. Like, I mean, if the past year has shown me, it's that Grace is going to be a lifelong friend for me, because those lifelong friends that I have, we don't have to talk every day. We don't.
Yeah.
We communicate in like other ways, like voice memos or Snapchats or sending pictures on Instagram or audios on Instagram, or like even our like TikTok DMs of me literally sending everybody thirst traps. Like, it's just
Dude, she sends me like 40 TikTok videos in the middle of the night. So I wake up. That's all my notifications.
I love that. No, yeah, and like not surprising when it comes to Maggie. I love it when occasionally she'll send me their shop here and there, and I just add it to my favorites. I'm like, you gotta save this one for
you
next
haven't
time
gotten
or
much because
whatever.
I've been off of.
No, yeah,
TikTok
I know
the
you
last
had
month.
like your break this month, but congrats on coming back. Hope you're doing well. Loving the content, loving the hair, loving everything.
It's about to
Yeah.
get dyed and cut soon, so it's gonna be great. Excited.
It's gonna be
No,
a wild
yeah.
ride.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. And like, after this deep discussion that we just had, to turn things around a little bit, I'll start with Maggie on this. What's the how do I say the a bad habit or whatever Maggie has, or the worst thing when it like what's the worst thing about Maggie? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No. I'm saying
Grace is prepared.
is there something that surprised you to learn about Maggie? And Maggie, this question for you but for Grace too, like vice versa.
So
Let me just pull up my list.
Watch it, Grace.
This podcast is gonna end sooner than we thought. 1 year
Our next
anniversary and our last
episode
episode.
will-
Our title of this episode is gonna be goodbye.
It's been a fun
been a
ride.
ride.
Breaking up.
It's been a ride. It's
Hosted
over.
by at Ayman's Books. Ayman's Books is taking over.
um
The one woman show.
I think some of the things that might irritate me. Again, you have to realize being a business partner and being friends, being very polar opposites in the sense, you do clash, and it is part of the daily.
I already know what all of this is gonna be.
we planned this conversation already. We planned it. It's crazy because like, look, let me give you guys backstory. When we first were like the four of us, Ayman, Melissa, Maggie, we were all talking one day and we were planning the trip for them to come to LA for us to go to Disneyland together. And then somebody said like, well, let's just hope that nobody fights from now until then, because we planned this like a few months ago.
Amen.
And
I'll tell you guys after.
Maggie,
Go on.
Maggie and I fought. We didn't fight, but we basically are like, I basically said, somebody's gonna have an argument, somebody's gonna fight, and it's gonna happen, but we'll move on it. And then like I just kept saying it. I'm like, you saying don't fight is not realistic. There's gonna be fights. We're all girls. We all, tensions run high.
Tussle.
A little bit, a little smacking around, and then
Right.
we're cool, And so then after Maggie and I had this conversation, we were just like, oh, it's probably gonna be us.
Yeah.
Probably gonna be us, because you know what? This is how the argument's gonna go. We're gonna talk about how you don't email the guests on time. You always schedule the episodes, but you never figure out what days you want them on. We're going to talk about how
This is going off.
you ask me how to do things like all last minute, and then I was like, and you're going to tell me that I do everything late, that I do the post late, that I do the templates all last minute, that I misspell on the templates, that
It's so funny because this happens to both of us. We both
that I
Going
don't
on and on.
respond.
No, Grace is
all of
really
these
good at
things.
responding. Grace is good at responding.
Yeah.
If it's
Uh,
important,
I
to you,
can
it's fine.
believe that because no, sometimes I think Maggie will not open my snaps for days.
That's a
yeah.
lie.
Like, that's-
I always open your snaps. Grace doesn't answer my snaps.
Oh,
Then
it's
again,
because
I
I
gotta
look
call
at
my
them and they don't really warrant a response.
That's
It's kind of
true.
like, okay.
Oh yeah, no, I get those snaps too sometimes here and there. I'm like, okay, the fuck you want me to say? Hello.
You know? So, yeah.
Sometimes I just
But
want to see your face, Grace.
Aw. Well, then tell
Maybe
me
she just
that.
see your face.
Grace, send me a photo. I want to see your face.
But yeah, we basically planned out this whole argument and we were just
Mhm.
like, these are the things that when we're actually going over business plans, we're taught, like we know the other person's getting irritated,
Yeah.
but we
Mhm.
both have, I think, like a good demeanor of like knowing things need to get done
Yeah.
and the other
Me
person
bugging
is
Grace
just
to
prodding
give
you
me
along.
bugging Grace. Where's the thumbnail? Where's the thumbnail? I need the thumbnail. I
I-
still haven't even posted the thumbnail.
I know that irritates.
do it yourself,
That's
too.
a thing. That's a thing. That she bugs me about the thumbnail
Because I want
and
it before.
it doesn't attach it.
Well,
It
'cause-
doesn't go up with
okay,
the episode.
She sends me it while I'm
irritates
at
me.
work. She sends me it while I'm at
Mhm.
work, and I don't have my computer with me, and so I'm like, okay, I'll do it
Hey,
later. Well,
YouTube Creator has an app.
you can't add thumbnails on the app.
Thing.
Oh.
You're lucky. You're
Well,
lucky.
That's how I posted the episode when I was drunk. I used the YouTube Creator Studio. I downloaded it.
Yeah.
Great, but
No, yeah, I just love how you guys are well business partners and like obviously great friends with one another as well because as it should be with anyone who's friends with their business partner, keep the business separate and the friendship separate. Don't mix the two or else you're gonna start fighting.
Yeah.
And no matter what happens between you guys, whether it's whatever you guys share,
Yeah.
a business on or whatever, like it doesn't
I
matter. It doesn't change how you feel about each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
and that's how it should.
Daddy Lark, business daddy, Sophie Lark, he said it really well. Is like that, like you have to be able to say the hard things. And I know Grace, whenever Grace was designing the stickers, I was very nitpicky. Because I wanted to challenge Grace. I'm like, how do we improve this? And I know she was getting annoyed with me. But I was like, I have to push her because they're just not it yet. And then they
Mhm.
became it. And like
Mhm.
then we had amazing designs. And I think that's important is like Grace knew that like I love her designs. I always talk about her designs, but it was that like final thing where it's like you need somebody else to tell you like, hey, I think this should change or have that other input where it's not, I'm not hating on Grace. It's just like
No, yeah.
it's like we're both putting in our input. How can we make this better? And it works better is that I'm very
yeah.
nitpicky and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
this doesn't feel, because Grace is very artistic. I'm not an artistic person at all.
Mhm.
So me nitpicking stuff, I think also helps with like those who to give it things those it factors.
Yeah, and I
Exactly.
think that my best advice for friends who are looking to become business partners is like you have to understand what is worth it. What's worth the argument? What's worth that little tussle? What's worth the friendship? Is this something that is crucial to my livelihood? Is it crucial to my core values? Is it something that I could just let go? Is it something that I need to stand firm on? You have to learn when to compromise and when to not. And you also have to be able to voice your opinions. You need to create that space with your partner to be able to talk about things, to be able to give ideas and maybe table a different discussion at a different time. But then you also have to learn that balance of like, our friendship is very important. Our business is something that came out of our friendship. And if the business is starting to weigh down the friendship, then that is not the direction that our business should go. And I feel
Right.
like you often have to have like these like meetings and these kind of like discussions with your partner, with your friend of like,
What do you want to do in the future? Like how
what do you
want
want to do?
Example, Grace and I talking 2 weeks where Grace was feeling down, and it's like it's also like being able to like remember like why you're doing it and stuff. And like I had to like everybody gets in those ruts. Everybody gets in those creative ruts where you feel like you're just not moving forward. And
Mhm.
always be like, Grace kind of said it really well, but I also think that it's always good, like, either both of y'all feel down or one of you feel down, and sometimes it's important for that other person to reassure, like, hey,
Mhm.
we love doing this. We got
Mhm.
New York Times best-selling authors on our fucking podcast. We had Ayman, we had
Mhm.
Calvin, we had Pauline, we've had
Aw.
Tish, we've had Anna Huang, not Helen, or Anna.
I know.
Okay, that's
Aw.
what I thought. I was so scared. I was for a hot second. I said
They're
her.
both Huang, but they're different Huangs.
Yeah, but
Did she pronounce it Anna or Anna?
Anna.
Anna.
Anna. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
but
okay.
like I there has to be that one person that, like, I think also recognizes that, like, when another person is feeling down, like, showing that, like, what we've done. Like, yes, we
Mhm.
are such a small podcast. Like, there's other bookish podcasts that are way bigger than us, but we have done a lot within the last year to have freaking New York Times bestselling authors
Mhm.
on our podcast.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
And that's part of it, of like understanding that it's not always 50-50. Like in an actual romantic relationship, it's not always 50-50.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 75-25. Sometimes it's like 80, 20. And you have to understand those days, but then you also have to understand it's a give and take. So you have to put in the work if you also want something to be given back to you. And understanding certain boundaries, like Maggie's not going to be hitting me up like like if she messages me one day about the thumbnails, she's not going to message me again unless I forget to do it the day or the second that we're about to upload. And if I know that that is a responsibility that I need to fulfill, then I need to know that I'm responsible to do that. So it's
Still gives it to me
understanding.
late.
No, oh yeah, I do it late. But at this point now, Maggie knows that I'm gonna give it late, but we also know that, you know,
I sent her like a reminder
yeah,
2 days ahead, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
"You're just
I'm
way
like,
late."
okay. I'm like,
And
okay.
then I don't upload it till like the next week.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It gets up though. It gets
Gets
up.
up.
It gets up.
No, yeah.
But yeah, it's an
No,
important, it's a
yeah.
balance, work-life
Absolutely.
balance.
Yeah. No, good for you guys. No, yeah, like I remember like when this podcast started and everything, and even before, like you guys, you had your first episode. Like I was there since the beginning. That's what I'm gonna say. And just seeing the past success in just like a year, it feels like you guys have been doing this for 10 years, but it's only been 1 year, and you've had people that like like how did they say yes? Like that is crazy.
Yeah.
Like when you guys had Helen Juan and Katie
We didn't have
Roberts
Helen.
and
We had
Anna.
Anna.
I,
Anna.
I said
We
Anna.
did the kiss quotient, which is Helen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I meant Anna. But all these guests and everything, and literally that episode where you had like Bethany. I watched that and I was freaking out along with Maggie. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have like this cosplayer that like everyone seems to have a crush on in the book community, and I'm like, oh, like I really want to be on one of these episodes. um and no, yeah, it's crazy. And I love how your podcast, it just has like like every guest that I can think of, and
We
like
really had the
at
core
this
of the
point,
talk.
Yeah.
no,
The
like when
core
you
of
guys
book
started
talk.
inviting like authors, and it's like authors I recognize and stuff like that, and then it just came one after the other, like I'm just like, oh my gosh, like no way. And I can't wait for this episode and this and that. Like that's my thought process. But like I think at this point it's like, like after one successful author of an like after the other, like well-known authors, um and I see like your next author or something that or guest that you're having on, I'm like, no, yeah, as can be expected. Like, of course they have this author on. Of course they have this guest on, because like you guys have had like tremendous success in this last year. And I know like Maggie said this is like a small podcast, but everyone knows about it. I'm telling you, like everyone wants to be on this podcast.
Girl,
Like
send us a
I
list of people.
Send us a
No, yeah.
list.
Let me just like send you like all of my mutuals. Like, no, I'm in like a book talk group chat, and there was this conversation a long time ago, like when you guys started your podcast, in which we just talked about like like have any of you guys ever been on a podcast? What's it like? Oh, that's so cool. Like you can tell people are sort of like envious, and then like one person will announce like, oh, I've been invited to a very bookish podcast, and like me at that time, at least I can't speak for everyone, like before, like they'd be a guest, I'm like, they invited so and so before me, like when is it gonna be my turn? When? I've been waiting for years and years and years. And no, yeah, so like honestly saying, like as of today, no matter who it is, I've been on a very bookish podcast is a flex.
I appreciate that.
That makes
It
me
feels crazy to me because it's just like, it's a podcast, so you don't really get to see the physical number of people that listen, unless you look at analytics and stuff like that. So it's very
Right.
daunting that like actual people listen to it.
and they
I mean,
comment about specific episodes.
Yeah.
That I think is like crazy. Is when I get people referring to like specific episodes, I'm like, I don't even remember.
Oh,
that
you
episode.
listen.
No,
Like,
yeah, it's like,
you
oh,
do
you're a
remember.
fan.
You're
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
fan.
It's funny that like people like, I want to do like just like an open thing where people can like submit that they want to be on the podcast, so that like
You know
I
what?
can have like
That's
we'll
what I'm
send
gonna
you
do.
we'll send you a Google form and you can send it to every
I'm gonna
group
set up
chat.
a Google form. I'm gonna let you fill it out, and if you want to come on, you can come on. That's actually what Books on the Brain does. Books
Yeah.
on the Brain
Mhm.
is another podcast with
Deirdre,
Carly, Deirdre, and
Danielle.
Danielle. Thank you. They have a Google form, so I'm gonna tell them how they set up the Google form. I'm gonna ask them like, you know what, we need one too.
And you can send it to all your group chats, Ayman.
Yeah, you can send it to your group chat.
Ooh. No, yeah, we'll do. We'll definitely do.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I've been on their podcast, and like I said, I manifested my like spot being on this podcast. I manifested myself being on that podcast too, because I remember at that time kids were, I think you guys started first before and then they did.
Mhm.
But it was around the same time.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I need to get on one of these podcasts. Like, come on, like everybody's been on it, but me. Like, I need to be like, let me in.
And look at you now. And look at you now.
Miss
taking the
Verified
Grammys.
Queen.
Yeah.
Oh,
got it.
thank you guys. You guys are so nice.
Yeah.
So like since we talked about like something unexpected we like realize about one another, what's your like I guess favorite thing about one another when it comes to the podcast? Like I'm glad I'm doing this with Maggie or Grace because they do so and so. Like it would not have worked if they weren't doing this or saying this. Maggie, you can start since Grace started last time.
Let me hear it. Come on.
Okay, so
unless you need a minute.
yeah, I think I need to.
Okay, then Grace take over.
I am offended. No, honestly, the bones of this podcast would not work. Like, yeah, I make it all pretty and stuff with the designs and stuff, but the scheduling, the uploading, all of that's all Maggie. She has the mind for it. I clearly do not. So if it weren't for Maggie, it would not be available to the public eye, or public ear, should I say? Because if it weren't for Maggie, we wouldn't upload anywhere. It would just be me, just talking to her, and no one ever getting to listen to it. So without her, we wouldn't upload anywhere. We wouldn't, be anywhere on any platform.
Aw.
So yeah.
No, yeah. I love that, like, you guys balance each other out in that way, you know what I mean? So yeah, it works.
So mine isn't specifically about like running the podcast, but it's about episodes. And I think what I love most about talking with Grace is how eloquently and how insightful
Yes.
she is when she talks. when
sure.
Grace is passionate about a topic, you can see it in the way she talks, in the way she explains things to you. You can you feel the passion radiating off of her, and you're like, oh, she loves what she's talking about, and that's really what I
No, yeah,
love
I've
about
noticed
Grace.
that about Grace too. Like when she's talking about what she loves, it's almost like her voice kind of gets seductive and she talks a little slowly and softly. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I know she's geeking out about this.
yeah.
I
And
can't.
Like she just knows how to speak. Like she can just
no,
speak to you,
yeah,
and you're
and you
like,
can like hear her smile because
and
like
you can
I
watch me.
remember,
I'm like,
yeah,
uh-huh, I'm like
like
looking at Grace. I'm like,
how
uh-huh, yeah.
no, yeah, I'm like, I know she's happy about this, and I know how it sounds every single time. I'm like, and especially I think it also goes hand in hand like when Grace is talking about like a book that she really loves and the scenes that she loved
Mm-hmm.
within those books, and then
At
she's like,
Sophie Lark's episode.
honestly, Grace, you should go into like audio recordings or something like that. Like, why don't you like read these scenes out loud to us?
I mean, maybe I'll do that. Maybe. I don't know how to do the guy voices. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
No, yeah.
Let me try.
Chris.
No, yeah. Like,
Give
That's
me
how I
give me
would
a
say it.
guideline. Give me a guideline. What would a guy say?
Come here,
bro.
baby. Let me rub up on your tummy.
Um,
Come
just,
on,
like,
little mama. Let me whisper in your ear.
get on your knees or something.
Oh.
Oh, was that too dark of a turn?
Okay. Let me try.
Right. What do we think?
Get on your knees.
That was good. Wow.
That was pretty good.
Grace made me blush.
No, I can't do guy voices. I wish I could. I mean, my voice
I
gets
can't do them
pretty
either.
deep, but I can't.
No,
I
yeah.
can't. I can't do the sultry voice. The sultry voice is very.
No, yeah, and it works because I love the sound of your voice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's great because like it never stops running. But you guys made me kind of blush. Oh. Thanks.
No, yeah.
No, it's funny because like my dad says that when I'm telling stories, I start at the beginning and it took forever to get to the main point. And I'm just like, it's because I want people to feel
The backstory. No, I'm the same way. No, like my sister will say this. Calvin recently said this to me that like I take forever to get to the point and I will over explain and go in detail. And I'm like, I gotta make sure like you gotta vicariously live through what the fuck I'm talking about as I say it. So I'm gonna tell you every single bit and piece and secret and like birthdays and whatever, like when I'm telling you a story.
Yeah.
Because you need to know what I felt when what so and so scene, whatever it was, happened. Like you gotta know everything before you know the juicy bit, you know? Like yeah, like I could get to the middle of it. I could get to the fucking point.
But it's
But
not gonna be climatic.
yeah, it's not you're not
there.
gonna get that emotion. Like if I tell you 2 + 2 = 4, let me give you like the mechanisms of that. You know, let me tell you why 2 + 2 = 4. Because you gotta know the foundation before you know like
you gotta know
fucking point.
that 2 started off as 1.
Exactly. Like you need to know every bit in detail. And like, you know, I sometimes I like over explain and like I try to keep it like at a minimum at this point because I know like if I'm just like milking it out the entire time that they're just gonna lose interest in the middle. But no, yeah, that is a very bad habit that I have that I do all the time.
But I don't know if since you guys like my voice so much, maybe we'll do an episode of just me.
No, yeah. How about you just like read to us? No, yeah. If you guys do that,
I'll do live streams of me reading out loud, like
no, yeah,
the
do
gentleman.
it. Right. Like honestly, it could be like one of those things that you see like at late at night or something, and you're just reading, and you just have like soft light around you, and it's just a sultry voice, and you can just like put your phone to the side and just lay in bed and just be like, yeah, just scratch my brain in the right way.
I'll do that, but it's hard because I like reacting, so it's gonna be like, dang. I can't. I gotta keep the flow. I gotta keep the flow. No,
exactly.
that might be fun. We'll see.
No, yeah.
We'll see. Yeah.
Right. Well, I guess unless you guys have more to add, that wraps up the 1 year anniversary episode 52 of a very bookish podcast. How do we feel, Maggie and Grace?
I feel great.
Felt
Yeah.
fun.
Yes, it was fun. I mean, it's weird that we've been here for a year.
No,
It
yeah,
was
and more
Like,
years to come.
A
fingers
year
crossed.
Years to
exactly.
come.
Exactly to this date, December 4th is when Saturday, well, it was Friday, December 4th. But it's Saturday now, or Saturdays, and it's Saturday, December 4th that this episode is airing, and I'm just like, how? Why? Like, it's weird to think about.
Oh yeah. It's a special day, and it's pretty awesome. Is this one episode was very interesting because like a lot of the times we want to be able to tell these stories and want to be able to talk about certain things, but they're not pertinent to whatever we're
Yeah.
discussing that day. So
No,
this
yeah.
was a nice refresher, being able to reflect on
Who we are,
yeah.
how we've grown.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know your audience is going to enjoy this for once because like yes, when you guys have like certain guests or whatever on, a lot of the time that like drives more people to that particular video like or podcast or episode or whatever it is. But they do fall in love with you guys along the way. And I can say that as a person that's been on like the podcast, and I can say that like for anyone that's been on the podcast just once, or not, or for like what I mean, I messed up. I meant like for the audience, like it's where watching this for who you have along, for both of you, especially you guys when you talk about your book reviews or the book you guys have read for your book club and such. So yeah, it's been a journey speaking as a listener as well.
Thank you,
Aw.
Ayman. That's really sweet. I don't want to cry, so I'm
Aw.
holding it in.
Oh,
And
you're
I need
so
to pee,
sweet.
so I'm really holding it in.
No, yeah,
If I
but
laugh or if I cry, it's all gushing out.
oh,
Grace is like,
don't make me cry.
Grace is like,
Hello.
Maggie, shut the fuck up, okay? That's what Grace
She's like, cut the cameras. Stop
like,
it.
"Cut the
Stop the recording.
Maggie, talk about the
Oh, yeah.
shop, talk about our upload, and then leave.
No, yeah, like if you want to go ahead and get into
Oh,
those like credits, keep
yeah.
it rolling.
So shop update. You guys know that we have our stickers up there, our October stickers. If you have not gotten yours, make sure you guys go ahead and get those. They are my favorite stickers that I have made to date. We have our enamel pins on there. We do have some upcoming merch ideas that we do plan on doing. We do want to focus our merch on things that we're actually reading right now. So we are mostly focusing on romance and dark romance because that's just what the vibes are right now. So, and we know that there's not that much merch out there. So if you have any ideas of or things that you would like to see with these type of themes on your merch, go ahead and let us know. Send us a DM. It would be really cool if you guys did this or that, and we might do it. Who knows?
And I also want to say that like helping support the shop also supports us because Grace and I don't make money off this podcast, and Grace has put a lot of money. I still need to Venmo her, but I also have spent a lot of money on the podcast because I pay for other stuff, for subscriptions and stuff for the podcast. But if you can like support us in the shop, and even if it's not like buying anything, if you're like just putting it out there, like that's great. We honestly support that, and like we want to be able. We've literally been planning this week designs for certain items that I am so excited. Like I'm excited to get myself and to wear and to use, and I want them. And really helping support the podcast or support our shop does really mean a lot to us and help us grow. So
So if you
Yeah,
guys
guys
share,
deserve
if you
every
guys
penny.
yeah, you guys copy link, you guys tell people about us, go ahead and tag us whenever you guys do. It means a
Absolutely.
lot to us.
Yeah.
well, this is where we're gonna end. Thank you, Ayman, for hosting this episode.
Thank you for allowing me to.
Yeah. Last week we did announce we are Saturdays at 9 a.m. now. This allows for me kind of to, because I have accounting tests on Fridays, usually at 6 p.m. So it allows me a little bit more time to upload the episode because I've literally missed so many uploads because I've literally had accounting tests and I've just been like, or I've been drunk. It's either I'm drunk or I'm at an accounting test, which is not the best. But yeah. So that is that. Anything else to say? Why is
No.
Ayman off screen? Oh.
Oh no, sorry, I was scratching my foot.
Oh. Well,
Like reaching down.
okay. Well, thank you
Alright, you guys.
everybody for
Hope you
listening.
guys have a great
Thank
rest of your
you.
week.
Happy December,
Happy
Yay.
December.
and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.